Hi, my name is Doug Berger, and I'm the founder of Industry Reimagine 2030. This talk offers a fresh perspective on what's now needed to revitalize U.S. manufacturing. 3 years ago, when I began this narrative, the role of manufacturing and the importance of revitalizing it wasn't obvious to everyone. But since then, our world has been shaken, and we're all feeling the effect of diminished manufacturing. And it's affected our psyche as a nation. On the bright side, as a nation, we have most of the foundation, and we're making progress. What's been missing is a shift in the national mindset. This is the story of that shift and the huge opportunities that it creates. To make the shift in our mindset, we need to appreciate the decline. And this goes beyond what we know to appreciating manufacturing's decline in human terms, so we can arrive with clarity at its essential importance. Then we can see with a new lens those vibrant opportunities that were hidden in the old mindset. What we know is that 4.5 million jobs were lost over the last 25 years. And that translates into, the loss of a middle-class lifestyle for 4.5 million families, and then the ripple effects of another 13 or 14 million jobs and families affected by the multiplier effect of manufacturing. We lost 70,000 factories, and that hollowed out thousands of communities, probably some communities that you've lived in as well. And the imbalance of trade, this is subtle, but the imbalance of trade transfers wealth to other countries. And in doing so, we're leaving our next generation, our children and our grandchildren, in a diminished world. We have now a invented here, made there, imported back economy. And worse, this imported back has really become a mindset in our society. And it's been reinforced through the myriad of actions across the economic spectrum. And one could think of it as a self-fulfilling mindset. Manufacturing makes a disproportionate contribution to the economy, and it's really necessary to rebuild our manufacturing economy. And while we've recognized this for the past decade, it's really come into clear focus since COVID-19. And this quote from the McKinsey Global Institute really states it quite well, that COVID-19 has underscored manufacturing's role in providing products critical to health, safety, national security, and the continuity of a lot of industries. And it's revealed the extent to which global supply chains are exposed to shocks and disruptions. And we see that in empty shelves in the supermarket. I want to highlight that coincident to COVID-19, we're in the midst of a disruptive transition, and these are the key trends that are affecting that transition. So there's effect on supply chain security and resilience, Industry 4.0, and the skills shortage. We'll talk more about that in a moment. The environment is now mainstream. Demographics are making a fundamental shift. National security and health, highlighted by what we saw happening in COVID-19. There is no going back. The real question here that's not being asked often enough is, why haven't we reversed the tide? Thousands of organizations have been working for well over a decade to revitalize manufacturing, the local, the state, the national level. We've extensively analyzed the decline of manufacturing, and experts have been offering policy recommendations. We have the technology, we have the know-how, we have the capital. and we're spending billions of dollars annually. Why haven't we reversed the tide? What most do not realize is that after 25 years of decline, our prevailing mindsets become manufacturing's in inevitable decline. We're settling for small gains, and we're operating inside our individual islands of self-interest. New results require collectively a new mindset, this world of vibrant opportunity. And there's a growing population that sees a new future of vibrant opportunity. We see local collaborations of industry, education, and government collaborating on workforce development. We see an ecosystem bringing electric vehicles to market at a pace unthinkable 5 years ago. We see venture capital investing billions of dollars in clean tech. So there really is a growing population that sees this new future, but the prevailing view is still one of inevitable decline. And that's what we must shift. How does shifting the mindset, though, from inevitable decline to vibrant opportunity actually translate and contribute to revitalizing manufacturing? Well, recently we launched the new James Webb telescope. And if we think about that, the James Webb telescope uses a different lens. Instead of looking at visible light, we're seeing infrared. And through that lens, we're now seeing a very, very different reality. So we can think that the lens through which we view the world shapes our reality, and that lens of inevitable decline has shaped one view, and shifting to a lens of vibrant opportunity will give us a view of our manufacturing universe that we couldn't see in the old lens. Great quote by a columnist in the New York Times that I respect, David Brooks. And he talks about how his own mental framework operates and how he's been, over the years, revising his own mental framework. And he says, my mental frameworks just sit there, and worse, they prevent me from seeing change that is already underway. It's not until I dismantle and reconstruct those preconceptions that everything becomes obvious. That's what I'm aiming to do in talking to you. There's this world of vibrant opportunities that's out there. It's just not widely seen and widely scaled, but it's a world of opportunity worth billions and billions of dollars and millions of jobs. And these are the key opportunity areas that I like to highlight. Let's start with transforming company competitiveness. There are three major ways in which we can transform company competitiveness. One, manufacturing technology. Two, the use of Industry 4.0 that's providing trusted data and the ability to make decisions on a much more distributed, agile basis. And the third, lean manufacturing, which is about employee engagement, continuous improvement, and waste reduction. The front runners who are effectively deploying advanced manufacturing, Industry 4.0, and lean manufacturing are 40% more productive and 30 to 50% more profitable than their closest competitors. Yet they're only 10 to 15% of companies, according to Bain & Company. So the opportunity is to double or triple the number of companies performing at this front runner level. Keep in mind that the vast majority of manufacturing employment happens in the supply chain, not with the end producer, with 85% of manufacturers employing less than 50 people. These are the companies that make tools, parts, packaging, and ingredients. These are the companies we need to reach, and we can reach them with the collaboration of their larger downstream customers. The domestic supply chain, we've been reshoring, And there have been common reasons why we've been reshoring. But when we take a fresh look in 2022, especially with the impact of COVID, we've seen that there are strategic materials that are at risk, the overall day-to-day supply chain, as well as the strategic supply chain, lacks sufficient resilience. There's increased geopolitical risk and environmental accountability. We now see that we offshored way too much of our environmental accountability to less responsible players. Hundreds of billions of dollars in reshoring today's products. On average, the United States purchases about 30% of these kinds of products, but we only make 10% of that here in the United States. Doubling the amount we make in the United States is worth hundreds of billions of dollars annually and million jobs. The electrification of everything is just beginning. And this, along with some of the other things that we're talking about, is the future. And the main point here is to not only invent the future here, but to make the future here. So we want to be making the future in terms of the electrification of everything. And you can see how pervasive that's going to be throughout the US economy and US society. We've got the internet of everything. We want to be, not only are we connecting people, we're making the products that enable the internet of everything to operate. So we want to be making those products here in the United States. Sustainability tech is just very, very early stages. There have been billions of dollars invested by venture capital, and they've not yet seen the return, but the returns are inevitable. We're inevitably going to be doing whole new technologies around water, greenhouse gases, waste conversion, etc. Smart city technology. This again is a big area where we've only scratched the surface. And as you know, we look at the thousands and thousands of cities, large, medium, and small, that will be implementing smart city technology in one form or another over the next decade. Shifting to a different area. The key to being able to realize the billions of dollars here in the United States is our ability to adapt to the 2020s workforce faster and more agile than our global competitors, because they're also going to be dealing with dramatic shifts in their workforce up and coming. So we've got the new collar worker, which is really about the shift from educating people to skilling people, from getting people into well-paying jobs that pay over $80,000 a year without requiring a college degree. We've got the augmented worker. That's the ability to perform the job at a higher skill level because technology is assisting you in much the same way that YouTube has made possible a do-it-yourself community. We're going to have a major shift in the demographics. We're going to have a major shift in the values these demographics bring, because they're all digital natives now. And when we get our facts straight, manufacturing offers good paying jobs that are smart, clean, and safe, that require skills versus education. And these are jobs with a future. If we stand in 2030 and we ask the question, what's our possibility as a country? Our possibility is to increase the number of globally competitive companies 3 to 5 times. Our possibility is to have 2.2 million people employed in middle income careers in manufacturing, to make a huge reduction in the environmental footprint, and US made goods to close the gap by 50% between the economies of Germany, Japan, South Korea, and the United States. So these are what's our possibility. These possibilities are bold. They're not realistic, but they're at the same time, they're not impossible. And this is what Industry Reimagined stands for. I'd like to offer a few takeaway perspectives. The first is that we've been living within a paradigm of inevitable decline. And inside this paradigm, it's been self-fulfilling. And this paradigm of vibrant opportunity, there are hundreds of billions of opportunities, there are millions of well-paying jobs, and there are thousands of revitalized communities. We're bringing about a new reality for US manufacturing, but it's not assured. It's not yet reached critical mass. The future needs your choice, because once you've chosen a future, it transforms how you are in the present. And that's what we need to shift the mindset in people in the United States, is we need more and more people choosing a future for manufacturing that's a future of vibrant opportunity.